Creepypasta time. It's 3 in the morning, and I'm hiding under the blanket from a monster that very well may not exist. I honestly thought tonight was going to be a normal night. I was up with friends playing games until I was yelled at to go to sleep around 12 a.m. I laid awake for a bit after, watching YouTube, reading webcomics, that sort of thing. I'm not a superstitious person. My dad is. He hunts ghosts. My closest experience was something that happened 7 years ago, but that's irrelevant. Ironically, I found myself scrolling Reddit when a loud noise came from outside my room. I stepped out, investigating like any idiot, and found nothing but my parents asleep, figuring the sound was from another apartment in the building. I sat around in my bed watching YouTube some more, until my mother came into my room saying she heard something. I brought up having heard something earlier and thinking it was one of our neighbors. For some context, I don't live in the best of neighborhoods. Gunshots are common, but it was nothing like that. I couldn't tell you what it was. I don't even know. Around 20 minutes after 3 a.m., soon after my mother came in, I went under the covers and watched YouTube. The building kept settling or what have you, but the noise happened again. Not near my apartment, probably upstairs a few floors. I shrugged it off and continued watching YouTube. 20 or so minutes later I hear this loud pop in my room, like someone stepped on a soda bottle and popped the cap off. I had one laying by my burr, which really set me off. I laid there for a bit trying to wrap my head around it when I heard noises coming from the direction of my closet. I continued laying there. What was I supposed to do? I heard whispers, and heavy footsteps upstairs, and felt tugging on my blanket. I shot up, and nothing was there. Nothing I could see anyway. So I went back under. My phone is unfortunately dying, so I had to make this as brief as possible, but now I'm sitting on the edge of my bed charging it from my PS4, and I can't shake the feeling something is staring at me as I type. I hear creaking around me as my fingers slam into the keyboard on my phone, almost canceling out the light whispers in the dark, as I hear the creaking stop in front of me. My foot is falling asleep and I feel something brushing up against my ankles. I don't know how to feel. It's as if something is toying with me. My phone's charger just tugged away from my phone. It's only on 5% or so now. I can't stop typing to look. I feel this cold air blowing onto me as I hear light breathing from the corner of my room. It looks darker there, but I'm looking from my peripherals. I read that you can't register some kinds of darkness when it's not in your peripherals, so I'm scared to look away from my phone's screen. I know there shouldn't be anything there, so why does it feel like it? The hall light flashes on as my mom gets up for work, at around 4. It's gone. There's nothing in the corner. Nothing I can see, at least. It's pushing beyond superstition. My eyes are practically welling up with tears as the hall light switches off. The fan from the bathroom drowning out the whispers I heard before, but not the creaking. I watched a bottle pop up just now, like something had stepped on it again. It's dark out, and I can hardly work up the courage to move my fingers. I'm going to get up and go out into the hallway. The bathroom light is still shining. I turned on the hall light and I'm staring into my lit-up room. I'm pretty sure it was all just my mind playing tricks on me, as cliché as it sounds. The sound stopped when I got up and ran into the hall. My dad is waking up. I hear him grunting down the hall, from the living room. I wiped the tears from my eyes, smiling. I gave a glance into my mother's room. For once my dad was sleeping in bed, right by the window. This overwhelming silence overtook everything when I stepped into my room and shot under the blanket once more, praying for it to work as a safe haven, as childish a prayer as it was. I sat there in the silence for a while, until I heard my mom exit the shower, and my dad getting up. My mother just left for work, and my dad just laid back down. I suddenly feel relieved, as if this living nightmare was over. I dip my head under the covers, looking at my phone in relief as I typed. I lower my phone to my chest, closing my eyes and breathing a sigh of relief. My door just closed, and something sat on the edge of my bed. Its thin, cold fingers practically freeze my ankle as it grasps it. "Sweet child." I hear a crackly voice whisper, as the doorknob of my room jiggles back and forth. I throw off the blanket in an act of defiance, at its direction, as my phone hits the ground, the powering off screen lighting up its grotesque form. It shies away from the light, darting towards me and grabbing at my throat, as my dad kicks the door open, light shining in, and it suddenly disappearing. I shot awake, in a cold sweat. I had had bad, realistic feeling nightmares before, but this one took the cake by a long shot. I leaned back into my pillow, wiping the sweat from my forehead. There was something darker in my peripherals,